This session, I want to something that's been on my mind for a while. It's something that affects roughly 1% of the world's population. Um, it's in regards to stuttering and stammering, which they refer to it in the UK. And let me start off by saying that I myself am a stutterer, and I do have my moments of disfluency, and it's it's something that's really hard for those that are afflicted with this condition. And there are treatments out there, but they're treated more as a mental disorder, or there's just so many ways to supposedly treat this disorder, and people see this as a medical condition where in some case, honestly, we don't really know what really causes the onset of stuttering in people. So many research has been done, and so many studies supposedly link it or attribute stuttering from many factors, such as a neurological standpoint, a mental disorder, something wrong with the brain, something wrong with the muscles, like our speech muscles. And that's not to say that that is incorrect, but it is to say that it could be a various factor, and we really don't know why. Um, Most researchers believe that stuttering, the onset of it, occurs in children between the ages of 2 and 5. It could also be onset during the early teen years, and or it could be as rare as coming on during later life or midlife, say 20s and 30s. So with that, there's just a whole slew of ranges and factors to why people stutter. And I want to get out the misconceptions that most people have with stutterers. And one such thing that I want to put out on the table is that we are not stupid. There's no mental defect with us in terms of our brain capacity or what we can or can't learn. It's just the avenue of our speech, and when we try to communicate our thoughts, it we just seem to have that condition where it doesn't tend to come out as easily as it does for normal people. Uh, is that to say that we're not normal? Not at all, not at all. But um, aside from that, I myself, being a stutterer, can totally relate to the persecution, the ridicule, and the intolerance, and the misunderstandings that people have in regards to people who stutter. And some of the problems that I wish the general population would be a bit more understanding on is that we're not handicapped, and things in life aren't as easily attainable for us. there's always a bias, and we always get looked upon as freaks, or we got some kind of mental disorder because we can't talk right. And it's really a stigma that really hurts a lot of people who suffer this condition. And the things that affects us in our everyday lives that would be normal and what people do on a daily basis is so much more difficult for us than the common person, such as trying to establish a relationship, trying to attain just a job, just everyday things like going grocery shopping, talking on the telephone, ordering food on via the telephone or inside a restaurant. Those things is just makes it like 100 times more difficult for us, because when we really can't say what we want to, we can't communicate our ideas. And in this day and age where communication is the key to how articulate one is, to get their ideas and opinion across, it is crucial in the business world that we are seen as competent, to know what we're talking about, to be able to be articulate with our ideas and concepts to sell, to promote business. And if we can't do that, I mean, it's so hard for us to even just get by with the daily basics and necessities. It's it limits people, for those that stutter, on attaining, let's say, white collar jobs or anything else along those lines, because they're unable to go to an interview for a certain job that they would be really good at, as far as their personal skills and technical skills and their qualifications. But during the interview process, they really can't convey that to the interviewer. And being that we're a nation and society that we have to be social, we're always working and dealing with people. If you can't really communicate with people, you're the freak, you're the oddball, you're being isolated. So with that, it just makes it so much tougher. And then we have to limit ourselves to jobs that either don't require much speaking, and we go out of our ways to take something else. And I've always really been against that, because I've always believed that people should do what they can, what they want, and what they're good at, to the best of their abilities and their potential. And suffering from this condition, it really hinders and limits that. Another important thing that I want to speak from experience is the relationships that people who stutter and stammer have. It's so much harder to approach the opposite sex, constantly always worried about being judged, that what's wrong with this freak? He can't talk, he can't say hi to me, he can't ask me if would we like to go for a drink, to go out to eat, to go to dinner, or anything else along those lines. And because the fear of just automatically being labeled as some weirdo, some freak.